What's the next step? How about cars powered directly by the sun?
This is Momentum, one of the fastest solar cars in the world.
For the students, solar car is the ultimate experience.
Ever since the industrial age, people have looked for ways to power cars without using consumable energy sources, and this is probably one of the closest anyone has come to fulfilling that dream.
When all is said and done, nothing seems more obvious. Use the single most powerful energy source in our solar system to charge our cars in our driveways, soaking up energy, and then move us from place to place with no emissions for free. It takes 3,000 solar cells to do it, and while it can't cart around a family of 4, it goes like crazy with no emissions for free. Driving the University of Michigan solar car is lonely.
It's only a one-person vehicle, so all the human contact you have while driving this is through the earpiece.
It's also exhausting,
It took all of my energy and strength every day.
but it's comfortable,
You're always in a lying down position.
though a little warm.
It gets extremely hot inside, up to about 120, 130 degrees.
And it only averages about 45 miles per hour.
For the Australian race, I believe it's a bit higher, around 48, 50 miles an hour.
On power, harnessed for free.
Every one of these sections of cells is pretty much like a giant battery. So when the sun hits it, it'll create a big charge across the battery.
How big a charge?
When you spread it out over the entire surface of the car, you get about the same amount of power as a hairdryer.
Not a lot of current, but the energy goes from the sun to the cells, right to the motor.
So what that means is there are no gears and no chains on this car. That saves us a tremendous amount of power and efficiency.
At about right now, 12 noon, the sun's putting out about 1,000 watts per square meter. For a car of this size, that means this car can harness at 100% efficiency 8 horsepower for the vehicle's planned form.
8 horsepower. Most cars use about 300 horsepower at peak.
However, Momentum, with only 2 kilowatts of power, which is about 2 horsepower, is able to go 63 miles an hour.
There's something to be said for solar efficiency. But how soon will we see a more practical side of the sun's power to propel our cars? Surprise, right now. At the recent Paris Motor Show, Venturi revealed a surprise. Gildo and his team have created Eclectic, a car that will take 3 people at city speeds.
It's limited to 50 kilometers per hour. It's the first car in the world not to need extra energy, which is able to produce energy.
The company will make 200 Eclectics to use right now.
It's not anymore a consumer car. It's a car of where the owner is a producer. He's producing its own energy to be able to go to one point to another.
Eclectic has its limitations. It wouldn't be practical on the interstate or in Alaskan winters, but at the Paris Motor Show, the response was tremendous.
The press is really crazy about our product, and it's really those new ideas that we are developing, because we believe that we do not have to wait 30 years to present things that people can use right away.
Harnessing the sun. What could possibly be more ingenious?
The future of fuel. Take a deep breath. It's air.
A car that runs on air. Perhaps we are running out of fossil fuels. But ethanol, biodiesel, electric, hydrogen, and solar cars surround us with an array of solutions. And then, there is the solution that is literally all around us.
The future of fuel. It's air.
Think about a car that even runs on air. The air we breathe, the air that's for free. Only if we dare. Only if we dare to imagine a future beyond anything that's available today.
Science fiction novelist Jules Verne predicted that cars would one day run on air. Ironically, Francis Guy Negre just happens to share his birthday.
Yes. Jules Verne was born the same day of me.
And Monsieur Negre has created, yes, the air car. Fully functional prototypes of lightweight cars fueled completely by compressed air.
On a cherché à faire
We started out with a blank page and we tried to create a new car. A car that was nothing like the cars we were accustomed to.
Something like 10 years ago, we arrived at the conclusion that doing some sport cars, some efficient cars, some consuming cars was not the solution. And that there is a real problem with petrol, there is a real problem with emissions, and we have to do something. My name is Cyril Negre and I'm working with my father since 1993. And we arrived at the solution that we can use compressed air.
Imagine, it costs nothing to fill up your car with gas. That gas also happens to be the same gas that fills your lungs with every breath.
The principle is simple. En fait, tous les moteurs fonctionnent avec de l'air comprimé.
Actually, all engines work with compressed air. Most engines suck it in, heat it up, it pressurizes, and it pushes on a piston. In our engine, we pressurize the air first, so when we apply it to the piston is pushed.
But in this kind of engine, what we are doing, we are bringing the air with high pressure, and if you take into account the fact that you need to compress the air and to expand it into the engine, this is a whole system totally free of emission.
Actually, the air car does have emissions. It's ice cold, completely clean, highly breathable air. Imagine a fleet of air car taxi cabs in thermally challenged cities like Los Angeles or Mexico City, cleaning and cooling the atmosphere as they ferry people about.
Il est certain que l'air comprimé,
Obviously, compressed air isn't like carburation. It doesn't use combustion. Compressed air is an energy carrier. It has to be compressed and then it will restore and return what we gave it.
For Guy, the motive behind his creation is philosophical.
c'est pas pourquoi. Ce sont des.
The question is not why. There is no reason. It's a logical process about creating movement.
Y a pas de raison.
Our own ways to create movement.
Movement powered by air, 200 miles on one tank, with speeds up to 60 miles per hour.
You can fill it with an air station in 3 minutes, or you can plug it on a normal electric plug, and then using this alternator we have inside of the car, which is also an engine, you can drive the air engine as a compressor and fill the tank.
On a cherché à faire une voiture.
We tried to create a car that is practical. So we made a utilitarian car, not full of bells and whistles. We needed it to be light as well, so we used composite materials, which also allow us to have a car that is stronger and better insulated.
It's very light, of course, because our car has to be light. This is a frame just to glue the body on the chassis. This is a body glued, quite finished. You have some aluminium parts just here, that is part of the chassis.
Strong, lightweight, practical. A solid cabin structure that carries compressed air tanks underneath to propel it. For some, it's hard to believe.
Of course, many skeptic is normal.
In fact, it's always easier to be skeptical than to think in a positive way.
They can say whatever they want. I know my technology. I know what there is inside, and I know the potential there is inside of this technology.
More than potential, the air car is the real deal. The air car isn't cost-free to operate because it does take some energy to compress air. But interestingly, MDI has created a generator powered by compressed air, which presents a tantalizing possibility. What if that generator was on board the car? Then one day, perhaps the compressed air that runs the cars will also run a generator to compress its own air. A car that runs on air and constantly refuels itself, round and round, a perfect circle, perpetual motion. A no-cost fill-up ever. Not one iota of pollutants ever. And a cute car. All for about $15,000. That's a future car. There are many who have left the gas can behind and explored the possibilities of propulsion without petroleum. These are the modern-day automotive heroes. Walking the road from gasoline to biofuels and hybrids. Electric cars with phenomenal acceleration. Clean and efficient hydrogen cars. Solar cars. And even, as Jules Verne predicted, air cars.
Take a deep breath.